after you get good at multiplying binomials and you have already distributed, we start doing everything backwards. That's what factoring is. One time when I was very, very tired and had taught many algebra classes and was teaching factoring, and then I had to go by train downtown to my evening class, I remember going up to the ticket booth and handing the person in the booth $1 and said, "Would you please factor this?" Which they reacted kind of funny. I don't think they knew that term, but what I really meant was, would you break it down into quarters? But I had used the term factor so much. Factor means that you're going to tear apart. So we're going to factor in various ways as we work up these bricks of programs. The first one's kind of easy. It's the backwards of the distributive property, and that's factoring the GCF, or factoring the greatest common factor. So I'm going to invent a problem with the random number generator. Now what we want to do is factor out the GCF. So this is going to require inspection. I'm looking at 14, 12, and 14. And I want to see what is the highest number that can divide into all three of those numbers. Well, I can see they're all even, so they're all divisible by 2. This would be divisible by 4, but the 14s wouldn't. This would be divisible by 3, but the 14s. So it looks like 2 is the greatest common factor. So if I factor out a 2, 2 times what would give me this 14? See, this is the backwards of the distributive property. This would be 2 times 7, and this would be minus 6 and minus 7. And I would, if I were doing this for a grade or something I was going to be evaluated by, I would at this point multiply it back in my head and make sure I got the problem back. 2 times 7 is 14x squared. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12x. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. I'm pretty sure I'm right. He put his hand up, and I have correct. Now, when I was doing this program, I thought, they've got to learn how to factor out the opposite of the GCF as well. So we want to factor out a negative 2. Factor out a negative 2, it's going to be the same answer except with the opposite signs. So we would factor out negative 7. This would be 6. And this would be 7. Double check. Negative times negative is positive, 14. Negative times positive is negative, 12. Negative times positive is negative 14. Check. He'll put up his other hand. So we factored out what was common. Let's do one more problem. I hope my dog does not bother you. 26, 18, and 4. Looks like that 18 is just a bunch of 3s and a 2. So it looks like it's 2 again. I wish it had been something different. So this would be 13. This would be negative 9. And this would be 2. And we check, and we got that one. Now what about negative 2? This would be negative 13. This would be now 9. And this would be negative 2. We have to be able to factor out the opposites sometimes when we get into our harder problems. Check, we win. See if we can get something different this time. Gee, another 2. You're going to think the whole universe is made up of 2s. But I assure you that as you go on, there will be other things. Hope you get good at taking out the GCF. Always look for that first. It will simplify everything. Thanks. Bye.